Hi everyone, in Algebra 3, this is going to be your new material that's covered in lesson 59. And this is going to be on advanced logarithm problems and then something called the color of the White House. So the first thing that we're going to look at is called the advanced logarithms, and you're going to see that these problems are very similar to the ones that we were doing before. The only difference is that you may come up with multiple answers. And when you come up with these multiple answers, you need to make sure that you check to make sure that those answers are valid. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through this example together, and then we'll see the answers that we come up with. And in some cases, this may involve us having to use the quadratic formula to solve or other means of solving. So I'm going to first look and see that there's a plus sign between my two logarithms, which means that I'm going to need to multiply those two variables together. So x plus 1 times x minus 5 is equal to 1. Once I've combined these, I can get rid of the logarithm by raising both sides to the power of 7. So this would be 7 to the log 7 and then 7 to the 1. When my base and my log space and my exponent are the same, those actually cancel. On this left-hand side, I'm actually going to multiply that through, which would give me x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 7, because 7 to the 1 would be 7. Now, if I bring the 7 to the left-hand side, I'm going to get x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now we can see that that actually factors evenly because I have two numbers that multiply to give me negative 12 that add up to give me negative 4. And those two values would be negative 6 and x plus 2. Which means that my two solutions for x would be positive 6 and negative 2. But the reason you have to check your answer is if you go back to the beginning of this problem, you can never take the logarithm of a negative number. So if I plug in 6, 6 plus 1 gives me 7, and 6 minus 5 would give me 1. So those both work. But if I plugged in negative 2 plus 1 gives me negative 1. And again, you cannot take the logarithm of a negative number. So your only answer is going to be that x is equal to 6. So you cannot take the logarithm of a negative number. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video and I want you to work on the two problems from the lesson that are like this, numbers 9 and number 10. Once you have attempted both those problems, then you can press play and then you can go through these problems with me to make sure you understand what you're doing. So I'm going to start with number 9. Number 9, I see that there is a number outside my logarithm, so there's a 2 outside of my log. So I'm going to raise that or put that to the power of the x. So that would be log 5 of x squared. On the right-hand side, I see that there's a minus sign between my logarithm, which means that I have to divide those two variables together. That would become 18 over 2. Now to get rid of the logs, I'm going to raise both sides to the power of 5. So 5 to the log 5, 5 to the log 5, and those cancel. And now I'm left with x squared is equal to 9. Now, if I were to take the square root, normally when you take the square root, you would get x is equal to plus 3 and then x is equal to minus 3. But again, you have to check your answer because if you were to plug in positive 3 into here, that works. But if I plugged in a negative 3 into here, we cannot take the log of a negative. So that means your only result is going to be that x is equal to 3. Now we're going to look at number 10. So again, try this problem first before you press play. So the first thing that I'm going to recognize is that I have a log on both sides and that there's a plus sign in between those two logarithms. But what I need to do is I need to combine those logarithms in order for me to be able to solve for x. So I have a little typo there because on the left-hand side that should be log 4x minus 1 plus log 4x plus 2. So that should just be a 4 in the base. So this should be a plus sign, so I need to combine those, which would make this log 4 x minus 1 times x plus 2 equals 1. To get rid of the log 4, I'm going to raise both sides to the power of 4. So 4 to the log 4 and then 4 to the 1. The log 4s would cancel. I'm going to multiply through this. This would be x squared plus x minus 2. And then I have equals 4 to the 1, so that would just be 4. Now if I bring this 4 to the other side, I'm going to get x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. And that also factors evenly into x plus 3, x minus 2, which means I have two results for x. I have x is equal to 2, and then x is equal to -3. But now what I need to do is I need to go back to my beginning. If I go back to the beginning, if I plug in 2, 2 minus 1 gives me 1, so that works. 2 plus 2 gives me 4, so that also works. But then if I look at the -3, -3 minus 1 would be -4. And again, you cannot take the logarithm of a negative number. So your only answer is going to be that x is equal to 2. Now we're going to look at the next piece of this lesson, which is called, oh, wait, we have one more problem, sorry. So we're going to look at number 11. So if you have not tried number 11, pause this video now and then try it before pressing play. So if there's a minus sign between my logarithms, I'm going to divide those two variables together. So on the left-hand side, I would have log 4 of x divided by 2x minus 1 is equal to 1. Now to get rid of the log 4, again, we raise it to the power of 4. So 4 to the log 4 and 4 to the 1. Now this isn't 4 times 1, this is 4 to the power of 1. So this would be x over 2x minus 1 equals 4 over 1. Now when I cross multiply this, 4 times 2x minus 1 would be 8x minus 4 is equal to x. Now if I bring this x to the left and bring the 4 to the right, I would end up with 7x is equal to 4. And on this one, I'm only going to have one answer of x is equal to 4 over 7. Now, I need to check this answer, though, make sure this works. If I do log 4 over 7, that's a positive fraction, so that works. And then 2 times 4 over 7 would be 8 over 7. And so 8 over 7 minus 1 would still be a positive fraction. So this x is equal to 4 over 7 does work. Now we're going to move on to this next topic, which is called the color of the White House. And what this basically means is it's telling you exactly what we've been doing. If you raise something to the power of a logarithm with the same base, those actually cancel. So this 5 and the log 5 cancel, and that leaves you with 14. The other thing you need to know is that when you're working with logarithms in an exponent, it still follows the same laws of logarithms. So if you have a plus sign, you're still going to multiply those variables. If you have a minus sign, you're still going to subtract them. And the reason this works is because the word logarithm means power or exponent. So when those cancel, it would be equal to what's left, which is equal to 14. So now I want you to pause this video and look at number 12 and number 13. And when you're done with that, then you can press play and see if you got the answer right. So on number 12, I have 43 raised to the power of log 43, 6. But again, if my log's base and the base of my number, or in this number, are the same, 43 raised to the log 43, those actually cancel. So my answer would just be 6. So that's a pretty simple one. But now let's look at number 13. So again, if you haven't tried this one, I want you to try it on your own before you press play. So before I can cancel out the 2 and the log 2, I need to combine these two logarithms in the exponent. And remember that when you combine in the exponent, you multiply those variables. So this would turn into 2 to the log 2 of 5 times 6, because a plus sign means you multiply those variables. Now that we have a base of 2 and a log 2 in my exponent, those do cancel. And I'm left with 5 times 6, which gives me 30. So again, the laws of logarithms do apply to the exponents. even in the exponent. So you want to make sure you're still following those same rules. This is the end of your video for lesson 59. I would like you to post all of your questions for lesson 58 in the comment section of this video. Have a great day.